Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Launch Hour, brought to you by Constant Collab, where we eat, sleep, and breathe finance, news, and everything in between. So if you like finance, news, and crypto, make sure to subscribe. We have a great show lined up for you guys today, so let's dive in. So, like always, we are going to start by looking at the overall market. Right now, crypto is sitting at around 2.6 trillion. The volume still over 100 billion. It's sitting at 121. Bitcoin dominance is sitting at 42.2%, while Ethereum still remains at 19.3%. So today the market is down 1.5%. Bitcoin is sitting at 57,962, down 2%, almost 2.5%. Still down 7 day still down 10% for the 7 day period. Ethereum is sitting at 4,221, down 3.5% for the 24-hour period. Is there anything green? Yeah, Solana's up 3.2%, sitting at $221, down 8% for the 7 day period. Avalanche just entered the top 10, knocking out Dogecoin. Avalanche is up 0.5%, up 40.5% for the 7 day period. And then Crypto.com is still trucking along. Crypto.com is looking like it wants to hit $1. So it's right now sitting at 75 cents, up 10% for the 24-hour period, and 65% for the 7 day period. The partnership with the Staples Center changing the name, to Crypto.com Arena, it's really made a big push for Crypto.com. I mean, it's definitely becoming a household name here in the US, so that's a good thing. But other than that, Elron's up 17%, and then Cosmos up 14%. So there's a sprinkle of green here and there in the top 100, top 50. But overall, the market, is red. But let's dive into the news. There's a lot of good news today, a lot of adoption news. So let's dive in. Let's start out with El Salvador. El Salvador plans Bitcoin City, funded by Bitcoin Bond and powered by a volcano. So there's still this talk about thermal energy for powering Bitcoin mining in El Salvador. But El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele, announced over the weekend that his country is planning to build the first Bitcoin city, a nearly tax-free utopia for Bitcoiners founded by a Bitcoin-based bond and geothermal-powered Bitcoin mining. The country plans to fund construction of the city and the infrastructure for Bitcoin mining via a 1 billion tokenized bond. The only tax in the city will be a 10% value added to help fund construction and pay for the overhead down the road. This bond is issued by Blockstream's Liquid Network, sidechain processed by Ifinex. 500 million of the bond, which carries a coupon rate of 6.5%, would be earmarked for construction of the city and necessary mining infrastructure, while the other half of the bond would go towards buying more Bitcoin. After a 5-year lockup period, El Salvador can begin to sell its crypto holding purchased via the bond to pay additional dividends to the holders. So apparently this bond, there's a lot of positive things why people, should buy the bond and stuff like that. So I honestly think that they're going to be able to sell all of it. It's $1 billion, so I mean it's certainly doable for El Salvador to sell the entire amount. And I mean they're really setting up El Salvador for a tax haven for Bitcoiners and cryptocurrencies. So there people were taking El Salvador as a joke and stuff like that, and the IMF, the International Money Fund, was saying that they weren't going to help them with the adoption and help banks with the transition into making Bitcoin legal tender over there. But the president is definitely making moves to make El Salvador a tax haven and more attractive to Bitcoiners overall. So we'll see what happens here. I mean, this story is very interesting. I see El Salvador. I said it before, and I will say it again. I see El Salvador as becoming one of the richest country around the world due to cryptocurrencies. And as you guys will see, there's other countries and politicians that are pushing for the adoption of cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. So El Salvador is not alone here. So we will only see. On other news, though, I mentioned this cryptocurrency last week, Oasis Network, and since then it has gone up drastically, almost 50%, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Oasis. Ticker name is Rose. Like I said, I mentioned it last week, and it's up drastically. Literally on Monday of last week, I mentioned it, and look at that change. It's gone over. Right now it's trading at 36. Yeah, definitely up over 50% since I talked about it last week. I bought it. I'm accumulating it. I think it's a great project. And there's definitely, development news that I think you guys should hear about. So Oasis Foundations launches EVM-Compatible ParaTime on Mainnet. Targets NFTs and gaming. Emerald, the Ethereum virtual machine compatible ParaTime developed by the privacy-focused blockchain protocol Oasis, has officially seen the light of day on Mainnet. Oasis aims to attract more projects from the DeFi, NFT, and gaming dApps industry onto its network with the move. The press release by CryptoPotato informed of the launch, explaining that Oasis wants to provide enhanced DeFi and NFT experience for its users base, but only for a fraction of the fees that they paid on Ethereum. Additionally, Oasis promised high throughput and instant transactions, features supported by the unique ParaTime architecture. So far, the network has processed over 4 million transactions and consists of 110 active validators and more than 4,000 delegators. The project aims to increase all figures following the launch of ParaTime, since it's integrated with Ethereum-based dApps through cross-chain bridges. Developers can utilize those bridges to solve the biggest users experience challenges that exist today: high gas fees and congested networks on Ethereum. And that is something that I've said over and over again. If Ethereum is not able to complete the transition to 2.0, it could die. There's Solana, Cardano, Oasis. They're definitely, going for Ethereum's throat. And, people paying high gas fees and the slowdown of the network whenever there is a high transaction volume can definitely, damage Ethereum. People to buy an $100 NFT, like you're paying $50 on gas fees. Like nobody wants to do that. And it's definitely something that's hurting the Ethereum network, unfortunately. So I really like this project. I like Oasis. Again, like I said, ticker name is Rose. So you can find it right now. Where the market? Right here. So it's on Binance, on Qcoin, on Bitfinex, CoinList. I bought it on CoinX. That's where I'm accumulating it. So, like I said, it's a good project. I like it. The market cap right now is 1.3 billion. Circulating supply is 3.5 billion. So the max supply is 10 billion. So it's a good project. I like the tokenomics. 100,000 people have it on their watch list on CoinMarketCap. So it has a pretty sizable community, in my opinion. So yeah, the volume is over 500 million. So keep an eye on that one. I really like it, and I still think that it could go higher. This is not financial advice. Make sure you do additional research. But yeah, I really like Oasis Network. But on other news, Avalanche surging on Deloitte partnership. So long story short, I don't want to dive into it. Ava, the native token of Avalanche ecosystem, has moved up to the 10th place. I just talked about it this morning, ranking on CoinGecko, also CoinMarketCap, and now surpassed the meme coin Dogecoin and Shiba Inu in the 11th and 12th position respectively. It is good to see a layer 1 blockchain with fast and cheap transactions taking over from hype-based cryptos with absolutely no fundamental value underpinning them. But yeah, Avalanche is a layer 1. They partner up with Deloitte. That's one of the things that's definitely pushing the value of the crypto. So just like the report said, they are sitting at number 10. Number 10 with a 31.5 billion market cap. So, I mean, it could easily get to the number 9, number 8. Those two spots are fairly close. Another 8 billion gain, and it will surpass Polkadot as the number 8. So, yeah, Avalanche making big moves. I like the project. I think it's a good one. And, yeah. But on other news, this is not a fad. Finance Minister Jane Hume warns Australia of risk missing out on crypto. Australia's Financial Services Minister, Jane Hume, has differed from the Reserve Bank of Australia's conformist stance on cryptocurrencies, warning that they are real and Australia stands to miss out on if it continues to brush them aside. Obviously, cryptocurrencies are being adopted. They are used for transactions. People are building on the networks. It's not a fad. And when people try to use that mentality like, oh, they're going to die, this and that. Bitcoin, the oldest one, has been around for over 12 years at this point. And they're not going anywhere. I mean, some of them are going to die. And obviously, some of them will stay. But when countries and other politicians try to make the argument that this is a fad and it's going to pass, they definitely risk being left behind. A lot of people, in the early 90s thought that the internet was a fad. And obviously the internet's still around 30 years later. People thought that computers were going to be a fad. They're obviously still around 40, 50 years later. So to dismiss them as just a fad, I think that's small-minded mentality. And they definitely might want to do some additional research. But she goes on to say, speaking on Monday at the Australian Financial Review's 2021 Super and Wealth Summit, Hume hit back at the RBA after it warned Aussie investors against putting their finances into cryptocurrencies, labeling the asset class a fad last week. As industry and as a government, we need to acknowledge this is not a fad. We should tread cautiously, but not fearfully. I agree with that 100%. I think that is a great quote. People should definitely be careful where they put their money, do additional research when it comes to a cryptocurrency or anything that they try to invest their, hard work, earn money in. But at the end of the day, it's not a fad. That's one thing that I can guarantee when it comes to this asset class. Hume, who shares the financial services and the digital economy in Australian Senate, further noted that it was upon the Australian Central Bank to accommodate new technologies. According to her, fighting innovation to maintain the status quo would only end badly. I mean, there's nothing else to say about that. I agree with everything that she's saying. The Australian Central Bank should definitely do additional research when it comes to cryptocurrencies. And, that mentality, that small mind mentality definitely needs to change. And yeah, I mean, it's a new technology. Do additional research and educate yourself. But moving on. Crypto payment service MoonPay raises $555 million. Crypto payment infrastructure service MoonPay has announced that it has raised a monster $555 million, hitting a $3.4 billion valuation. The company was previously bootstrapped and profitable, generating $150 million in net revenue this year. MoonPay allows users to pay for crypto and let me reread that. MoonPay allows users to pay for crypto and digital assets via a card, Apple Pay, and even open banking. Since its inception in 2019, The company has facilitated transactions in over 90 cryptocurrencies, building a user base of over 7 million. This is just, adoption news. I think it's great when companies that are crypto companies are getting valuations over $1 billion. There's definitely a lot of money flowing to cryptocurrencies in the market. Companies developing cryptocurrency infrastructure, facilitating payments with cryptocurrencies. So there's definitely a lot of adoption in this fintech. So I think this is awesome news when companies are able to raise that sum of money. So, but Invesco exec reveals reason for dropping Bitcoin futures ETF. Invesco withdrew its Bitcoin strategy ETF due to inability to offer exposure to a mix of future swaps and spot Bitcoin. After dropping a filing for Bitcoin futures exchange traded fund in October, United States 1.6 trillion asset manager Invesco has disclosed the reason behind its decision. So for those that don't know, Invesco, they run the Invesco QQQ on the Nasdaq. They're more of a tech, traded fund. So they were trying to release this Bitcoin ETF, but Anna Paglia, global head of ETFs and index strategies at Invesco, said that the biggest reason for dropping the filing was that the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission only approved Bitcoin ETFs with 100% exposure to the Bitcoin future. The Invesco Bitcoin Strategy ETF was designed to ideally be a mix of future swaps, physical Bitcoin, and private fund in the Bitcoin industry, Paglia said in a Sunday interview with the Financial Times. Such a composition would help protect investors in the event of a liquidity crisis, she stated, adding, "We thought that the CME future were going to be a very effective element for the portfolio. We never thought that they would effectively be 100% of the product." So the SEC, they've been approving just futures ETFs, which, it's great, just like she says, but to protect investors, they wanted a mix of futures ETFs and spot ETF. That way, if there's like a liquidity crisis on any of the exchanges, they're able to protect the people that have invested in their ETF better. But for some reason, the SEC, they're staying away from spot Bitcoin spot ETFs. They said that it's really hard for those those companies releasing the fund, the ETFs, to protect investors against market manipulation and a bunch of other reasons. But obviously, the people at Invesco, they think that it would be better to have a combination of more than just one ETF. But yeah, the SEC will not agree to that. At least not anytime soon, in my opinion. I think we're going to have to get rid of Gary Gensler and get him replaced before any new ETFs get approved. But moving on, breaking: India likely to table cryptocurrency bill before Parliament session. So I've hit on this multiple times in my past episodes. They are still, the winter session for the Indian Parliament starts November 29th. They're still, working out tax regulation. They're definitely moving away from a complete ban of cryptocurrencies. On my previous episode on Friday, there's talks about only allowing certain only approved cryptocurrencies to be traded on in India. So they're still moving with regulation, and I'm excited to see what happens in December after Parliament is over, to see if they actually pass it to get started in 2022. So we'll see. There's definitely good things going on in India. So moving on. This is a new app that's being developed, introducing Artray, the gasless NFT social media and marketplace platform. So I don't want to dive too deep into it, but this is an application. Obviously, they're aiming for gasless NFT release, but they have or trade NFT trading, but they have a token. Their token price right now is 2 cent. They're on their first round. They're trying to raise 3 million. So I mean that the application looks pretty cool. I'll play this so you guys can listen to it. Sorry, I muted my mic, but like the whole thing pretty much looks like an Instagram for NFTs. So obviously people will be able to like leave comments on your NFTs and stuff that you own, and NFT Flex has become really popular on social media, and people putting them on their Apple Watches and whatnot. So I think this is a pretty cool app. It's compatible with Ethereum NFTs and marketplaces. So I'm pretty sure you'll be able to link your wallet, your Ethereum based wallet, and they'll just pop up on that social network and stuff like that, and other people will be able to see it. But yeah, I mean their website looks pretty cool. But yeah, this is essentially how it's gonna look on the web, on desktop. But it's really cool. I honestly like it. People can retweet, they can tip you, they can like your art. Um, it looks like a really cool site. Their app looks awesome too. Honestly, it reminds me a lot of Instagram. It looks just like Instagram, but obviously for NFTs. Like I said, they are selling their token. Let me see what happens if I click here. I haven't been to that site. So you'll create an account, and obviously, I don't know if you can buy it if you're in the US. There's a lot of KYC and stuff like that other that companies are wanting to abide by. So you might have to do some KYC. I would look more into it. I might drop a couple thousand on it just for chits and giggles. But yeah, it looks like a cool project. It looks like a cool project in my opinion. But moving on, Instagram star Alexis Ren says the dollar-based economy is collapsing, so she's going into crypto. This is literally an Instagram like model, whatever it is that she does. I don't know much about her, but she's releasing. She has a company. She owns a company, YourStage.io. The company, is to educate people on. You can have videos, meetings, and classes for mentor-driven classes. It's like I said, it's YourStage.io. But she was doing an interview, and apparently, the interview was supposed to be about like the platform and stuff like that. But she made a comment that the way that we are using the US dollar is really scary. I would not have put it in those words, but I completely agree with her. It turns out that the rent interest in crypto is driven by doubts about the direction of travel of the US dollar. I mean, you don't have to be a financial genius to see that where we're taking the US dollar is not the safest place. We are literally devaluing the dollar ourselves. The US government is taking lead on that, and they're quick to say, politicians, Hillary Clinton, quick to say, oh, the dollar is can cause the financial system, or not the dollar, cryptocurrencies can cause financial system to collapse, and they can undermine the US dollar and all kinds of stuff. But the US government is the very first one taking the lead in that. We're printing trillions of dollars every year. Our debt is close to 30 trillion. So, people aren't stupid, and they're going to move into something that's more secure and that the government cannot control. And cryptocurrencies is the easiest thing to get into. Literally with $10 you can buy cryptocurrencies on Coinbase, and people are starting to do that. That's the smartest thing to do. And you have Instagram models and stuff like that getting into it, and people just, they get curious about it, and they're like, well, if this person can do it, why can I not? Why can't I? So yeah, that's all I have to say. And then the Metaverse, crypto, and EVs are among 2021's big tech winners. When Americans gather around the Thanksgiving table this week, the blistering rally in technology, electric vehicles, and crypto-related stocks is likely to be part of the conversation. So, this is actually from Bloomberg, but, Tesla reached $1 trillion market cap this year, and then they're talking about Roblox going into the metaverse and other companies going into the metaverse. And then the cryptocurrency craze with Digital Holdings Inc., Riot Blockchain, and MicroStrategy. Those companies have made big gains this year, a big part due to cryptocurrencies. So it's definitely going to be a topic of conversation this Thanksgiving, when families get together and whatnot. And I agree with it. But moving on. Mark Cuban reacts to Staples Center's changing its name to Crypto.com Arena. It was announced last week that Staples Center would be changing its name to Crypto.com Arena. The news came out of nowhere and reportedly will go into effect on December 25th of this year. The Athletic Shams Sharonia reported that the name change is believed to be the largest U.S. venue naming rights deal to date. But last week during a basketball game, during a Clipper versus Mavericks game on Sunday, Mark Cuban was asked what he thought about the deal. He thought that it was brilliant. One thing that he's having issue with, Cuban elaborated on his initial thoughts, stating that these crypto companies are killing it right now. His only concern was focused on the fact that these companies are often based outside of the United States due to certain regulations that exist in the U.S. Cuban would like to seek ways for these companies to come back to the U.S. Yeah, I mean, there's no regulatory clarity when it comes to cryptocurrencies in the country. And it's, at the end of the day, cryptocurrencies are going to go to the place of least resistance. They're going to flow to the place of least resistance. And there's other countries that are, putting out regulations. They're setting up sandboxes for these companies to operate in, and the U.S. is falling behind. So he's obviously concerned about it. And Mark Cuban is a smart guy. He's been into tech for a really long time, and for him to be saying stuff like that, politicians, they really need to pay attention to that. So I agree with him. At the end of the day, the U.S. needs to make it better for companies to want to come here. And then UK Mint loses 2.7 million Bitcoin fortune after making simple mistake. So I wanted to cover this briefly. This guy on a subreddit, he was he put out his story about what happened to his Bitcoin fortune and whatnot. But apparently, he got hacked, and he was storing his private key online. He got hacked. Somebody stole his password, his login information, and he lost, 2.7 million worth of Bitcoin. So I just wanted to mention that, so for people to be careful where they store their private keys and their passwords, and make sure not to give your password to anybody, and stay vigilant, whether it's $20,000, $100,000, or $2 million, that's a lot of money for the person that's holding it. So be careful where you put it. Don't share your private keys with anybody, and do your best to keep it offline. That's just a smart thing to do. Just be careful out there. And then the last topic for the day is a stock market topic. So the S&P 500 hits a record. Dow jumps 240 points after Biden sticks with Powell to lead the Fed. So there's really not much to say there. The president, Joe Biden, there was a lot of conversations in Congress about replacing Jerome Powell, but obviously he's sticking with them for another term. I think it's another 5 years. So yeah, he's still going to be running the Federal Reserve Bank, and there's, like I said, there's really not much to say there. But like always, I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, share it. We're trying to get the news out there to everybody. Make sure to tune in tonight for Crypto After Dark. Brian has a very special show for you guys. I think he's we'll be airing it around 6 or 7 tonight. We're going to put that information on our Instagram channel. And if you guys don't follow us on Instagram, we released some really great news about another gaming show that we will be putting out in the next couple days. So for the gamers out there, subscribe. We're trying to grow this community as much as possible. And Constant Collab focuses on more than just cryptocurrency and finance. We're going to do things in fitness, gaming, health. So this is a good community. This is a great community. We like to hear from you guys. So again, make sure to subscribe and share this video. We'll catch you guys on the next one.